Everyone, we are ready to start another project using Affinity Publisher and our Cricut Design Space. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to open up the PDF file for the blue Calla Clematis Wristlet. We only need to open up pages 12 to 14, which are the pattern pieces. So we're going to go File, Open, browse to our pattern, and we're going to hit the load pages and hit 12 to 14. Okay? And make sure your DPI is set to 72. Hit OK. Now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup work here. Not much really, but the first thing is we don't need these 1-inch boxes. If we leave them, they will come into Cricut Design Space, and then we have to edit them there. So it's 1/2 dozen of the other, but let's edit them here. So the first thing is we need to, on the right hand side, hit the Ungroup button. And that frees up this little 1-inch square here. You just want to click and drag your mouse over that and hit delete. And then the next thing we want to do is, so we have to ungroup this. That's the problem I'm having here. These are already grouped, so we have to ungroup. Okay, now we can select these little individual pieces, like so. Make sure you got them all, and you don't have anything up top. And we're going to click and hit group. And now we can rename this group the exterior bottom, like so. And we're going to hide it, just temporarily, okay? Now we're going to go to the second page. And we will have to, on this page as well, right-click over on the layers where it says group, and we're going to ungroup. That frees up the 1-inch square little thingy here. Drag and click, delete. Go ahead and go to page 3. And rinse, repeat. Right-click on the group, ungroup, get rid of the 1-inch square. You've made some changes to your file. Let's go ahead and save this as our native publisher file. So go File, Save As. We'll just call it the same file, Blue Calla Clematis. But now it's saved as the Affinity files. Hit Save. Okay, so we're only going to make really one small change to this pattern piece. And you don't have to, but I want to show you how to do it so you have the option. So we're going to open up page 2. And we have to now ungroup again because we need to work on the little individual nodes. So you can just click on it once. And actually, I guess I didn't group it back. That's good. Okay, never mind about that. We are going to remove these little nodes here. So first we have to put it in its node mode. Up here is select, and then over here is the node mode. So we're going to put our cursor, click it once here, and click it once here, once here, once here, and hit delete. Okay? So now we've gotten rid of that. Oh, by the way, you might be asking, by the way, why are we doing this? Because I don't think we need to add 4 additional pleats to the lining. We can just take a smaller seam allowance and kind of save our work. Plus, I think sometimes the pleats just has more room for things to kind of get stuck in and dust to collect. So it's just me. If you like the pleats, go ahead and leave them in. You'll be fine. Next thing you want to do is you want to drag and kind of keep an eye about how this is going to flow. We're going to select this point here, and then we're just going to drag it so that it meets this point here. Simple. And drag. Like so. It should join up nicely. Looks good to me. Don't worry about this line here. It's going to, it'll be cut out once we export or import it into the Design Cricut Space. So that's it for that. Now we can do another file save. Always good to save your work as you go along. Okay, so now we have our pieces ready for Cricut. What we're going to do next is we're going to go to the top. And here we have the top. So now we are ready to export our pattern pieces. we want to ensure that our document is set up properly. So we're going to go to File, Document Setup. Just confirm we have it set to 72 dpi. If you want to do inches, you can. Hit OK. And then we're going to go to File and Spread Setup. And just ensure that you are set to 8.5 by 11. You should by default. That looks good. Hit OK. And now we're ready to export. So we're going to be on the first page. And we're going to go File, Export. We only want to export page number 1. We're going to hit Export. And it's going to ask for a file name. So we can leave the default Blue Calla Clematis, and we can say top, T-O-P. OK. And hit Save. All right. Now we're going to select all of this, and we're going to, you actually can either group it and hide it, or at this point we're done with this file. I'm just going to delete it. And I want to show the exterior bottom, so I'm going to show that. Now we're going to export again, this time just the bottom. So File, Export, page 1 only, Export, Blue Calla, and say bottom. It will automatically add an _1 for page 1, but that's fine. Hit Save. Now we're moving on to page 2. File, Export. This time make sure you pick page number 2, and then hit Export. We're going to call this lining. And move on to the last page, page 3. File, Export. Now we're on page 3. Export. And we'll call this the slip pocket. We'll just call it slip. Okay, so that's how easy it is to import PDF patterns into your publisher. Make some very minor tweaks. You export them as JPEGs, and now we're ready to put them into Cricut Design Space. So I'll see you over there. So we're now ready to import our 4 pattern pieces into the Cricut Design Space. So we're going to click on Upload, Upload Image. We'll browse to our desktop where I have stored my images. You should know where you stored yours. And we will insert the Blue Calla Clematis top first. Okay, hit Open. We're going to do the complex and hit Continue. We'll use the Erase tool or the Select Erase and simply click the area on the outside of the pattern. Hit Continue. Hit the cut image and upload. Now we're going to we'll address all these images separately. We're going to go ahead and just continue uploading all of our images here. Okay, so upload image. Next, we're going to upload the bottom. Hit complex. Continue. Use a little magic wand, if you will, and get rid of the background. Hit Continue. Cut image. Upload. Continue with the other 2 images. Next is our lining. Complex. Continue. And then you'll watch this little line will go away as soon as we do this. Turn it into a cut file, which is kind of cool. Continue. Cut. No bleeds. Upload. And 1 more to go. This is looking for the slip pocket. click on the image for complex, continue, select and erase the exterior, continue, cut, upload. We are done. Now we have all 4 pattern pieces uploaded, and next thing we're going to do is work on the actual getting the images mirrored and ready for cutting. So let's do that. And we may as well start with an easy one first. So let's click on the slip pocket and hit Insert Images. And looks like we can test the width of it. Let's see. So we're going to need 2 of these. So Control C. So you want to excuse me, select it once, and then you can right click and hit Copy or Duplicate. Oh, and then it'll make another copy. So let's see how this fits on our canvas going in this direction. I like to have at least a 1-inch margin if we can. Put this over here. So this fits pretty nicely. We know we have a 12-inch, maximum 11.5 inches for our width on the Cricut mat. So this looks good. If I wanted to, I could flip this and have it be closer. That looks good. All right. So easy peasy. We now have our slip pocket ready. So we're going to go save. We're going to create a new collection. We're going to call it Blue Calla Tutorial. You call it what you want. I'll hit create. And now we'll call this the title. We'll call it Slip Pocket. This is a new feature, and it's really nice. Now you can save your pieces into a collection and not have them be all jumbled together. So I really like that. All right. So now we have this is ready to go. And next we're going to do a new project, or a new page. So we can go and we're going to go upload. This time we'll pick the lining piece since it's right there. Get the insert images. Now since we can't cut on the fold, we need to duplicate this piece. So we're going to right click, duplicate, and then we'll need to hit the flip and flip horizontal so that it becomes a mirror image of this piece. I like to, at this point, give this a different color so that we can see when we're going to weld them together how they look. So let's pick a different color. And now we need to bring these 2 together so that they are as close as possible without too much overlap. And you can use your arrow keys and nudge it in. I find it's easier if I zoom in a little bit more. Put this over here for you. So you can see, if we want to have the most minimal amount of overlap possible so that our pattern stays the true size. But we also don't want, if we see a gray line, that means that that line will be interpreted as a cut line. So you just need to do a little finesse, maybe use the position keys here to fine tune it. So play with that a little bit. If you find that you have put them together, like so, first we're going to make sure that they're aligned on top. We'll go align top. And then if we go over here and on the bottom right and hit weld, you can see that line right there. What would happen is if you went ahead and cut this, it's going to cut a line right down the center. So just undo that. Control Z is the command for the PC. And you want to just fine tune this out a little bit more closer. Okay, so I just spent a little bit of time to ensure that these 2 images were butted together, and now we will see if they are a single image by selecting them both and hitting the weld option. Yay! So you want it to be one solid color. If you had seen a line down the center, that would have meant it would have cut on that line as well as your exterior lines, and we don't want that. So I will say that this pattern piece is a tiny bit off, which means you're going to have to do a little bit more manipulation, getting it to overlap. But it's this piece is not really doesn't have to be precise, so don't worry about that. But you do need to do a little manipulation with that. So now we have our lining piece done, and we need 2 of these, and we can look at the size, and we can tell that it is about 11.13 inches after we made our fine-tune adjustment to overlap them. And I think that is going to be too big for our mat. So basically we have 11.5 as our maximum. So why don't we take this image here and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Like so. Now we can put it here. I always like to have that 1-inch buffer, and we're going to need one more. So we'll hit right click, duplicate, and put one right below it. So now we can look at where we are as far as the mat is concerned, because we know that our mat we're now working with a 24-inch mat, and we are at pretty close to the 24-inch. So we may need to make some minor adjustments up here. We might want to put this one about maybe 3/4, and move this one up to there. They can be closer to the top part, just not the bottom and the sides. So how about that? Now we have a good 3/4 inch buffer for that. I think that works. So this is our lining, and we're going to hit save. And this time we're going to select our blue Calla tutorial, and we'll call this lining. And we'll hit save. Then we're going to work on a new project, so hit new. We're going to go upload. We're going to select the bottom piece, insert image. This also is a cut on fold, so we're going to need to duplicate it and weld it. So we'll right click it, hit duplicate, bring one of them over here, and we're going to flip it, flip horizontal. We can change the color of one of these so it's easier to see, and we're going to put them together. So just kind of butt them up together. Make sure they're both aligned to the top. And that's pretty good. So we're going to hit, so now hit the weld. That didn't work. Oh yeah, it did work. Okay, so that's perfect. Now we have our bottom, and let's see. Let's look at the piece size. It is getting close to the 12-inch. So I think for this one, we're going to need to select it and rotate it 90 degrees. And we'll move it over here to close to the 1-inch margin on either way. And we can tell we have room for one more to the right of it. So now we can right click, duplicate, and we'll put this one right over here. So this is the bottom. Plenty of room for our canvas. Well, actually it's at 12. Let me see. I think we'll have to be a little bit more stimpy on this one. Go up to here. As long as you tape your project well, tape it down, you should be fine. So there's a 12-inch mark. Worst case, just use your 24-inch mat on this and give yourself a little bit of buffer room. So that's easy to do and doesn't take really much any extra work. So that is that for this. We're going to go save, and we're going to select the blue Calla tutorial, which I have incorrectly named, but that's okay. And we'll call this bottom. We're almost done with this part. And now we're going to hit new one last time, upload, upload. We're going to work with the top piece now, hit insert image. Again, we have to replicate. So right click on it, duplicate, and we're going to flip it horizontally. We'll give this one a different color. And we're going to line these up. You can eyeball initially. Select them both and hit Align Top. And we can see, if you zoom in, you'll be able to tell better if you have connected them. Looks pretty good. So we can hit Weld. You can see I have a small black line there. That means that it would indeed cut this piece in half. So I'm going to hit my button Control Z to undo. And I'm going to scoot this over just a couple of pixels. That should do it, hopefully. We can zoom in, see how we did. That looks good. So now we'll select both images and hit the weld. And we have a solid color image. That means that we did it correctly. So I will zoom out. So that's good. And now we need 2 of these. Now let's check the size on this one. So again, over here is a 12. Over here's the 1. It should be okay. So this one you can't go past 11 and a half now, no matter what on the mat. So either you're going to have to scoot it over here, or we need to make it go lengthwise. I think I'm going to turn it lengthwise. I'll put it 90 degrees. And I don't think we can get 2, but let's try it. Let's see. This is 5 inches. We can try it, yeah. So Control, just duplicate. Put it over here. I think we can do that. So here's our 11 and a half mark. And down here is the 12-inch mark. Again, you might want to use your 24-inch mat for lengthwise, but this should work. So the next thing is to save this. Here's our Calla, and we'll call this the top. Save. So now we have all our pieces saved to our collection, and we are ready to get ready to cut some fabric. Just a word of advice: when you're cutting your fabric in different directions and having them either go horizontally or vertically, you want to keep your fabric grain in mind. So make sure you have your fabric adhered to your mat in the correct grain, or the way that your fabric is being cut. So I'm sure you know that, but it's good to keep in mind. So next up, we're going to get our mats ready, and we're going to cut some fabric and cut some vinyl. So good job so far.